This year, instead of taking your significant other out to a great evening on Valentine's Day, I think it's time to impress them and make an amazing meal for two right at home. Sometimes I know it sounds like a lot of work, but I've put together a really quick, simple, delicious, and extremely healthy meal that you and your other will love this Valentine's Day. This is a simple salmon, vegetable, and rice dish, and to start we're going to just soak our rice. I like to use basmati rice because it has a little bit better texture and you can really have the grains separated, which I like. It isn't as clumpy as some of the other rices. So in a strainer, put your rice and then rinse it thoroughly until the water coming through isn't cloudy anymore. Put it into a bowl and then cover it with water and set it aside for about 30 minutes. This just really helps it cook at a more even rate later on and a little bit more quickly. Once your rice is soaked, you can strain it and then rinse it one more time if you like, just to make sure, and then place it right into your kettle. I like to flavor my rice, and so I put a little bit of salt, and then just for something extra, I like a little bit of fresh turmeric right inside the pot with the rice. This really just helps flavor it, and you could also use fresh ginger, and you could use nothing at all, but it just gives it a little bit something extra special. Pour on your water and then place it over the stove. Bring it up to a full boil, and then once it's at its boil, turn your stove down all the way to the lowest point. On mine, that is at simmer. And then I like to put on a piece of foil and the lid just to make sure it's a really tight seal and that steam is not escaping from the pot. This is the easy part. Just set your timer for 15 minutes and let it alone. While your rice is steaming, you can start to get ready your salmon. I like to use 4 to 6 ounce salmon steaks. Now, if you like a little bit bigger or smaller piece, you can of course adjust it to whatever you like. But just ask your butcher to have whatever size you want cut for you. It's best to use a really good quality salmon. The flavor will be a lot better and a lot more clean, and you won't have a lot of that gross fishy undertone that some of the farm salmons have. Check to make sure that your salmon has been deboned. If your butcher did not do it, you want to make sure to go through with the little pliers and pull out any of the fine bones because they're just kind of a mess and not very romantic on Valentine's Day. So make sure to pull those out. Separately, I'm just going to get ready all my vegetables. I like to just do them in matchstick kind of styles or long slices. And you can really use freedom here on whatever vegetables you like, but I like to use some carrots, some zucchini, a little bit of fennel because that flavor is so delicious. And just to finish it off, a few green onions. I like to use these better than regular onions because they don't have quite the harsh flavor, which once again on Valentine's, you don't need too much onion. They're a lot lighter and just have a lot better flavor overall. To put these together is so simple. I just take 2 sheets of parchment paper and then on the bottom make a nice pile of all my vegetables. You can just pile them up, a nice amount for each person. It's just a great portion control too, this meal is. On top of the vegetables, you can just place each of your salmon steaks. You can finish it off with a little bit of olive oil and some good rice vinegar. I like to use rice vinegar because it gives it a little bit of acidity and just a little bit more flavor. It's an odd addition, but I think you're really going to enjoy it. Just lightly salt and pepper each of the steaks. And then on top, place a lemon. You know, the lemon really does just flavor it. If you don't like lemon with your fish, you can of course leave it out, but it really does add a great flavor. To finish these off, I like to add a little bit of fresh tarragon and fresh dill. I just leave them on the sprig so I can pull them off easily when they're done, and you don't get any of those fine bits as you're eating it. Fold the parchment halfway over, and then just tightly crimp the edges all the way around, kind of creating a half moon. This locks in the steam and allows it to cook thoroughly. You don't want any holes in your parchment because then that will allow the steam to escape and you'll actually get kind of a dry salmon. Place them onto a baking sheet and into your preheated oven. Set the timer for 20 minutes. It can be anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes, but I find 20 minutes is about the perfect for a little bit more medium rare salmon. You don't want it to be all the way cooked through or it will really dry out. While your salmon's in the oven, I know your rice will be ready. When the timer goes, you just want to turn the heat completely off and let it sit for about another 5 minutes. Once that's done, just take it off the heat, remove the foil and the lid, and then just fluff it up with a fork. When you're fluffing it with the fork, you can also look for those pieces of turmeric or if you use ginger, and just make sure to remove them. I leave them in large chunks so it's easy to get the flavor and then easy to take them out. Set the rice aside until you're ready to plate it with the salmon. Once the salmon is ready, just open the packet and just make sure that it's not bright pink anymore, but a little bit more opaque on the edges. That's the way you know it's done. I like to just finish this by putting a little bit of rice on the plate, putting my salmon right on top of the rice, and then putting my vegetables beside it. Finish it off with a few fresh slices of scallion or green onion on top, just to give it a good bright flavor at the end, and a wedge of lemon. I love a squeeze of fresh lemon over the top. It really just brings out a fresh flavor as you're eating it. Put that on the plate and then serve it. This really is the perfect item to make for 2 people on this Valentine's Day. It may be a little bit something different than going out to a restaurant, but I think your significant other is going to love the special treatment that you're giving them on this home-cooked meal. And what could be more delicious than a fabulous and healthy meal made all by you? If you like this video, make sure to leave a comment below. I love to hear how you guys are inspired by what I'm doing, and it really helps me know what more I can create for you. And if you want more great videos, make sure to click subscribe and you will be part of the Gray Boxwood family and up on all of our new videos. I can't wait to see you guys next time.